Do you know what it feels like to be erased while you're still breathing? Not with death, not with silence, but with words sharp enough to slice through your skin and leave you bleeding where no one can see. I remember the night it happened. My father's voice, steady, deliberate. "You're not my daughter." For words. That was all it took to collapse the world I thought I belonged to. It wasn't whispered in anger or muttered in secret.
No.
He looked straight at me, in front of our neighbors, cousins, and family friends, people who had watched me grow up, and he stripped me bare of my own bloodline. The laughter around the dinner table stopped. Even the clinking of forks against plates froze in midair. And for a moment, I swear I could hear the sound of my heart snapping, like glass under a heavy boot. I wanted to scream, to demand he take it back. But I couldn't. My throat had locked itself shut, as if my own body betrayed me. All I could do was stand there, burning under the stares of people who suddenly didn't know where to look. From that night forward, I became a ghost in my own family. At weddings, I wasn't seated at the family table. At reunions, my name disappeared from introductions. I was a rumor walking around in flesh. And yet, my father's other children, my brothers, my sisters, thrived in the light he gave them. He paraded them like trophies, spoke their names with pride. But when it came to me, nothing. As if by pretending I didn't exist, he could rewrite history itself. Do you know what it does to a person to carry the weight of being unwanted? It doesn't just scar you. It reshapes you. I stopped wearing the clothes I loved. I avoided mirrors. I hid from cameras. Because every reflection reminded me of the lie he told, that I didn't belong. Years passed, and the silence grew thicker, heavier.
But so did something else inside me.
A seed of rage, of truth that refused to stay buried. So when I heard about his retirement banquet, the grand send-off, the speeches, the ballroom draped in gold, I knew. That was where the silence would finally end. The night of the party, I stood outside the hotel doors for what felt like an eternity. Inside, music and laughter spilled out like warm light, but I felt nothing. Just a pulse in my throat, hammering like a war drum. When I walked in, the chandeliers cast everything in a golden glow. My father stood at the center, shaking hands, smiling wide. To the crowd, he was a man of honor, a man respected, a man celebrated. But to me, he was the architect of my invisibility. The speeches began. Colleagues toasted to his brilliance, his leadership, his legacy. And then his voice filled the room.
Smooth, proud,
self-assured. "My family," he said, "is the greatest achievement of my life." The room applauded. And that's when I stood up. My chair scraped against the floor, sharp, cutting through the claps. Heads turned, eyes widened. My father's smile faltered, just slightly. I stepped forward. My palms were shaking, but my voice carried years of silence sharpened into steel. "Your family," I said, "isn't complete." The crowd stilled. Some shifted uncomfortably. But I didn't stop. "For years, you told the world I wasn't yours. You cut me out of pictures, out of stories, out of your heart. You thought if you spoke it enough, it would become true. But here I am, flesh and bone, your blood, your child. And tonight, I refuse to disappear." You could feel the air split in two. Half the room staring at me in shock, the other half pretending to study their glasses of wine. My father's jaw tightened. He opened his mouth, but for the first time, no words came out. The man who built his life on speeches had nothing. And in that silence, I realized something. I didn't need his acknowledgement. I didn't need his acceptance. All I needed was to finally speak. I walked out of that ballroom with no applause, no comfort, no arms wrapping around me. But I walked out free. Because sometimes the only way to reclaim yourself is to burn down the lies built around you. And if you've ever been erased, if you've ever been told you're nothing, listen to me. You are still here, breathing, fighting, existing in defiance of every word that tried to cut you down. I told my truth that night, not for him but for me. And maybe, just maybe, for someone like you listening now, needing to know you're not alone. So tell me, If you had one chance to shatter the silence, to stand in a room full of people and finally speak your truth, would you take it?